So this is a video to address an issue that a couple people have brought up, and this is completely normal. It happens every term. When you start to play the instrument and you're playing one finger, that's fine. But when you reach over to play this F add 9, you get this sort of muted sound right there. And it gets worse when you reach up to play F, like that, okay? What's happening is your fingers are touching the strings they're supposed to be on, but the bottoms of the fingers, the pads, are also gently touching the string underneath them and muting them. So you get something that sounds like this at best, okay? The reason for this is because the shape of the hand and the fingers and where they're contacting the string, the sort of the direction, is not quite right. So what happens is if you're playing the ukulele for the first time and you're playing here, first up, there's a natural tendency to want to look at your hands. And so you bend the instrument upwards like this so you can see the strings, okay? That's a problem because if I have my hands here and then bend the strings or the instrument up like this so I can see it, and I'm simultaneously probably looking with my neck straining down at it, then you can see that instead of coming in from the top on the strings, that starts to flatten your fingers out against the strings, and that causes immediately that the back of your finger is going to touch the string just underneath where you're wanting to go, okay? So we need to reduce this and try and get it to be more up and down. I know there's a desire to look, right? But it's better if you get used to playing up and down, okay? Holding it may also be just an issue. Like I have a strap on right now, but you may need to change the way you're sitting or bring this leg up underneath and cross it to support the ukulele. If you can use a strap, that's fine, but we need to get it supported. The other thing is you want to hug this ukulele in against your body, and if you got a long sleeve, roll it up or take your sweater off or something like that so that you get some friction. You hold it up against your body like this, and now it's not going to roll so much. So that's the first thing, is to get this more vertical and support it up against your body like this, okay? The second thing is, I call this guitar grip. So I'm going to try and show you. A lot of people will be shelving the ukulele against the back of the thumb or in the neck of here. And some people with very long and dexterous fingers have learned to play guitar in a folk fashion where you're gripping like this. And I guess that works for some style of guitars, but it's not going to work here. What we want is we want to open this up like a Pac-Man and bring it in here like this. And now you can see, if I can get into the camera correctly, that I have an open arcway. Now sometimes you will cushion it on the corner like the knuckle right there for certain kinds of chords like G and things like that. But even then, it's not back here, it's up there, right? And it can be like this as well. And you can see that the fingers are coming in from the top. So when I play my F chord, because they're not coming in flat like this, partly because of the shape of the hand, right? And partly because this is not rolled, so I'm having to chase it, okay? We get that. And that's what you need to play with right there. This is what it looks like from the top. And this is what it looks like as you go to the side. You can see that my fingers, because of the curvature of my hand and fingers, are coming in pretty flat, or like from the top vertically as opposed to horizontally. Okay, it's a combination of those little factors and details, getting the right shape here, not swallowing it up like this, okay, and not rolling the instrument. Now, you might say, but I play guitar and I've done this a lot and it feels real comfortable. That's fine, that's guitar. Learn to change it, because later when we play the uke in the second half, if you haven't developed the ability to keep this hand free like this, then you're going to have a hard time. Right? You need to have it open and free and arced correctly. Otherwise, you won't be able to move correctly, because this hand is not only playing, but it's gripping. We don't want that. Hold on the instruments over here or with a strap. Okay, and like I said, your legs can also support that instrument as well. Okay, so in summary, to get your fingers to come straight down on the strings, okay, you want to curve your hand like this, right? You want to unroll the instrument so it's more vertical. You can support it over here so that this doesn't have to be holding. If you can use a strap or something, that would be great. If it's got strap buttons and you don't have a strap, make some string or something. And then how do you get this to change? Well, you can start by, making this kind of chomp, chomp, chomp thing, but then you can roll your wrist just a little bit. Roll it forward and see what happens to my fingers right there. Okay, now we don't want to do it too much, and the further you roll this way, then your hand has to keep going around. It shouldn't put a strain here. It should be very natural. You should just drop your wrist a little bit, roll it forward, and it changes this right here. Okay, we don't want this, we want this. There are some chord shapes that we'll have to do that for, but that's much later on. Get this right here. Should be comfortable. Okay, it should be just like this. Furthermore, if your fingers are coming down pretty straight on the strings, then you use less force to get the strings on, so you don't have to really tense down, right? If you do this, you have to push a lot more, and again, that's going to lead to tendonitis and strain issues. Should be nice and free like that. Okay, right. If this doesn't help, contact me and maybe we can do a Zoom. We can look directly at what you're doing, and I can say, no, a little more like this, a little bit like that. Okay, but don't shelf it in against there. Don't break your wrist the other direction, so you're holding it like this. That's like terrible, right? Drop your wrist, bend it inwards, not backwards, right? This shouldn't be holding here. It should be like that. Maybe a little bit on the knuckle, the first knuckle right there. But you can see that my fingers are nice and curved, come down on the strings, right? In a more direct angle rather than flat. Hope that helps. Good luck.